Good morning and welcome to the Defiant Embroidery Studio. My name is Claire and today I'm going to be demonstrating how to make some beautiful beaded heart earrings. So I'm going to switch you over to my overhead camera so that you'll be able to see close up what I'm doing. Give me 1 second. So here we are back again. Hopefully now you'll be able to see exactly what we're doing. We'll be following the pattern that you'll be able to download off my website. I'll leave the link in the comments, but it's www.defiantembroidery.co.uk. So the earrings that we're going to be doing, we've got a choice of two on the patterns there. You've got a plain red, or you've got a red and a gold pattern, and today I'll be showing you the red and the gold one. We'll be using, just for demonstration purposes, these are actually made with a Miyuki size 8 round bead, but here's one that I made before using a size 11 Miyuki Delica bead. Personally, I like the Miyuki Delica beads because they fit in so beautifully, but I also like these as well. They give a really nice texture. So without further ado, the materials that we're going to be using, as I say, I've got a Miyuki silver lined flame red for the inside, and I've also got a Miyuki size 8 galvanized yellow gold. I'm using a size 12 long beading needle, and I'm going to be using, just for demonstration purposes, a blue Nymo thread. You'll also need a pair of ear wires and a pair of wire guardians, and you should be able to pick up these from any beading shops. So, keep wobbling my camera. So we'll be starting today's pattern here, and we'll be working up the heart. So what I want you to do is pick up 3 of your gold beads. And you'll be using about an arm's length of your beading thread and leaving quite a long tail. I want you to go back up through the 3 beads and then pull that tight. So you'll be getting a shape like a triangle, and then I just want you to go back up through the first bead. And then again up through the second bead. So your tail will be coming out at the first bead on your triangle. Okay, we'll be increasing using the brick stitch technique. Put my teeth back in, and you'll need to pick up 1 gold and 1 red, and you will go through underneath the stitch between the top 2 beads. Pull it tight, and then you'll go up through the red bead. Locking that in place. And then you'll pick up another gold bead, and you will go through that exact same stitch that you went through with your 2 beads. So you pull that tight, and then you'll go up through the gold bead again. Pull them tight, You see you're starting to get the shape at the bottom of the pattern. So I always like to turn around my beads so that the working thread is always coming up at the start of the row on the left side. It's so that I can see what I'm doing. I work from left to right quite easily. You might be, if you're left-handed, work from right to left. Again, we're going to be going now onto the 4th row here. So we've done one and 2 rows are together. We've just done the 3rd row, and now we're coming on to the 4th row. Again, we're going to be picking up 1 gold and 1 red bead. And if you can see where the threads are, you have 2 stitches there from your last row. You're going to be going underneath the 1st stitch with both of your beads. Pull it tight, and you can see how your beads are popping up like that. I'll turn it this way so that you can see. And you want you to go up through the red bead. So you can see we're starting to increase. They'll sit diagonally on top of the last row of beads. Then you pick up a single red bead under the next stitch and back up through the bead. And your last one on this row, you'll pick up the gold bead and you'll go back through the same stitch as where you put your last red bead. And there we have it. We have, pull them tight, you've got your next row. So I turn it round so that the thread is coming up from the left hand bead. Again, I'll pick up 1 gold and 1 red, and you can see now we have 3 stitches. So the 1st row goes underneath the 1st stitch, back up through that red bead, pull it tight. Next red bead goes through the next stitch. Next red bead goes through the next stitch again, and finally the gold bead goes through that same stitch as your red. Okay, so there you are. You're starting to see, and it's starting to get a bit more stable now. The first couple of rows are always quite tricky. Beads are a little bit loose and you can lose your way quite easily, but once you get into a rhythm it starts to get easy. So we've got 5 beads in the row now, so we go for the next row. Again, 1 gold, 1 red through the 1st stitch. See, sometimes that can happen. It's because that one isn't, the last bead in the row isn't, you know, locked off yet because it hasn't got anything above it. So now, there we go. It's starting to feel a little bit more stable again. So we continue going across the row, adding singular red beads before ending with the gold bead. Onto the last bead, there we go. Through the same stitch we add the gold bead. So where are we up to now? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Got 6 in a row. So we've got, where are we on here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have 2 more increased rows to go. That's it. Turn it around. 1 gold and 1 red through the first stitch. If it's not sitting tight enough, you can just play around with it and pull it tight and make sure that everything is sitting in place. Again, pick up a single red bead and start working back across the row. Okay, so this row we need to be paying close attention to what the pattern is saying. So we pick up 1 gold and 1 red into the first stitch again. Back up through that red. And pull it tight. We need 1 more red. And then 2 golds. And then we'll have 2 reds. And finishing the row with a gold. So there we are. You can see on the top where all the stitches are now. So if we turn around, this is where we start to decrease and make the top half of the nice little heart shape. But at the moment the thread is coming out of the wrong place, so we need to start to set up our thread for the decrease brick stitch. So what I want you to do is go down the second red and also the diagonal gold. You can see there where I'm bringing out, putting in my needle and bringing it out. So put that in and pull that tight. So now you're coming out of this gold bead here. I want you to go across, if you see which red bead I've gone through, directly across from the gold bead, come up through there and then go up through the second gold bead in there. So you'll be able to see on the pattern where we've come up out of that gold bead here, we've gone down through the red bead, across, down through the gold, across to the red and back up into the second red bead, which is coming out of this bead here, that one there. So we're now going to do one gold and one red bead, and we're going to be going through the next stitch along here. So we're missing out on this first stitch because we're now decreasing. We want less beads along the row. Okay, so you can see the start of the shape there, and we put a gold bead into that next stitch. There we go. So we're going to turn around so that you're coming up out of the left hand side again. And what we need to do, we need to be coming up out of that red center red bead again. So we need to go down through the two red beads, across to the right and back up into that center red bead. If it doesn't go both beads at a time, you can just do one bead at a time. There we go. So now we're coming up out of that center red bead again. So all we're going to do is pick up the two gold beads, and we're going to be going through this end stitch here, and that's your top two beads now secure. So we're going to have to go all the way through the beads to get up to this side again. So if we go down through the gold bead, and then we're going to be going through all the red beads until we get to that center row, if you can see. So you've got your two gold beads there, you've got one red bead, and then directly below you have that red bead, and pull your thread all the way through, across one, you can see that, pull your thread through, and then you're going to be going diagonally again up to the middle red bead at the top. Okay, so now you can see we're coming out of the center red bead, and you're just going to repeat the two rows that we did before. So one gold and one red through that next there, and one gold bead. Okay, you can see it's starting to build the second side. So we turn the beading over, and again we're coming up out of a left hand one. We need to be coming up out of that middle bead. So we go down the middle bead, diagonally to the left, pull tight, and across to the right one bead, up through that, and up back up through the center red bead. So last row, two gold beads through that end stitch, So there we are, we have the heart shape in place. So to be able to get the earring, we need to have a fastening. So here we have a wire guardian. It's got two little tubes here, and what we're going to do is to get hold of your wire guardian, and you're going to thread on one of the ends. So you can see it's coming up through the tube. Pull it down tight, and offer it up to the gold beads. You'll be going over the top of the wire guardian and back down the hole on the other side, and then you'll be taking this stitch down the other gold bead. So you can see it's a little bit fiddly. So what I suggest is when you get to this point and with your thread loose, hold the wire guardian right up to the beads and hold it in place with your fingers, and then pull the thread. And it's not worked this time, and it should. Doesn't want to play today. There we go, let's pull that down, do it very gently, there we go, and now it's caught. As you can see, the thread goes right across the top of the wire guardian. So it's still a little bit unstable at the moment, so go through across to your red bead on the right, and make sure that your needle is going up through the wire guardian again. We're going to do a double stitch. This will be a little bit easier because we've already got it in place. So down through the wire guardian, and again it's not caught. Oh, it has. And down through that gold bead. There we go. And then we're going to finish our beads off now. So go diagonally down some of the beads, and you'll see now that is starting to feel quite sturdy. And we're just going to weave our thread through different beads. So I've gone down there and back up and around again, so I'm going to go across, back up a couple of beads, and then back down a couple of beads, and I'm going to cut my thread there. So then you'll need to unthread and then take your tail thread and rethread your needle. There we go. That needle's finally decided they wanted to get threaded again. Okay, so we need to finish off this bottom thread now. So see, it's coming out the direction that it's coming out. Go up that next gold bead, and you can run it up a few of those gold beads. See, the needle just wants to go in that way, and make sure that it's going, you see, going across to the red. Go down through one or two. I've gone through two there, and then across and back up. I've gone through two beads there, and I'm going to make a circle with them back across and up through the two again. And you can just weave your thread any way round that you like. It's all now nicely positioned. So there you have your gold beaded heart. So to attach, for those who've never attached one of these before, you've got your little hoop there. So you take a pair of pliers and bring it towards you, and that will open up the hole, as you can see, and then you slide your heart over there and twist that back into place. Don't twist it out that way because you'll break the circle. You'll never get your this back into place again. You just ease it out and ease it back in again, and there you have your nice beaded heart.